evening, good morning, good afternoon, everyone in your respective regions and your time zones. Welcome to the Uganda Independence Summit. I'm here with my co host, Brenda, and my name is Agatha Lois Guochalia. Brenda, please introduce yourself.
Hello, Ugandans, and hello those that have also become Ugandans. Hallelujah. Sorry about that, but I thank God for this day. I know in Uganda it's already, you know, the ninth, almost, or it is, and here,
Yeah.
we're yet to end of the ninth. So it's good that we are celebrating it in these 2 days because we get to, have both. Um, as my co-host has spoken, I'm called Brenda and Kemi Gisha, but recently got married last year. So now I'm also called Brenda Sensalire. Nice to meet you guys today.
Congrats, Brenda, on your wedding.
Thank
So
you.
now we're gonna talk about the Ugandan independence. I'll give you a little background about the Ugandan independence. You all know by now that Uganda's independence is on October 9th, which was gained in 1962, and it was led by Dr. Apollo Nsibam. Sorry, Dr. Apollo. I'm so sorry. Brenda, please take it away.
um. Anyway, as we all know, Sir Edward Mutesa II was the first president, and then Dr. Apollo Milton Obote was the prime minister then. So, as we all know, he was before the Kabaka of Uganda, but then when he won independence, he became the first president. And I believe it was a very beautiful and joyous day in Uganda, just to be set apart from a ruling body that was ruling you from so far. And now we get to make our own decisions, have our own parliament, set our own rules, constitutions, and decide where Uganda is going as a country. Who are we? Where are we going? What are we doing in this world as Ugandans? So, independence is really a great day for us, as you know.
And you talking about that, recently I was on Twitter and somebody posed the question asking, as we get into the Ugandan independence, what makes you proud to be Ugandan? And I think that is a very deep question. I've never thought about it as a person. And ever since we got our independence, we've had 9 presidents so far. Like Brenda mentioned, we had Mutesa II as the first president, Sir Edward Mutesa II, the second, as the first president, and then we had Apollo um, Milton
Milton.
Obote. I don't know why his name is just so hard for me to say, but we had him as the prime minister, and he is the one that led us into the independence of Uganda. And right now, the current president is, who is the ninth president of Uganda, is His Excellence Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. Brenda, let me ask you, if they ask you of the 9 presidents that we've had, who would you wish to have met and why?
Um, that is a very tricky question because we were born in this regime of His Excellency. So we only had stories about all the past presidents.
Yeah.
Some basically ruled for like months or, just a few days. But of course, the most notorious has been Idi Amin. That's the one that most people talked about, what he did,
Yeah.
his patriotic ways, the energy he had, and just the few videos that I saw, I feel that he was a man that had a great vision for Uganda. Whichever way he did it, I believe it was coming from what he knew how to do because he was a military guy, so
Yes.
of course that's what drove him and the love for the country. So of course Idi Amin would have been an interesting person to meet. I don't know if to rule me or to meet. Those are two different things
I
because
think
of
he
the
is
stories that I've had.
interesting. I think he is an interesting character actually because of his controversial way of leadership. But with what we hear and the stories we hear that he was brutal, if you talk to the elders that I have talked to before, they said during his regime, it was the crime rate was really low. Either the crime rate was little or there was no crime at all. And I think that is interesting. He's an interesting person that anybody would want to know about, and he's the most popular of them, I'd say, because every time you meet somebody and they ask you where you're from and you tell them I'm from Uganda, they'll tell you, oh, Idi Amin Dada. You're like, yes. Yes. So, Brenda, could you please tell us about the today the background of the Uganda Independence Summit?
Wow, so the Uganda Independence Summit, I've been part of it for a while, and it's been a very interesting journey. It was started in 2019 by Immigrant Guide. I'm sure we've all heard of Immigrant Guide. There is an app, there is a website, and they help immigrants, get their hold in this country, because when you just arrived here, you don't have any information, and you only go by the first person you meet or the first person whose house you're going to stay at. And all this stuff we know from Uganda. When you get here, it's a very, very different story. So I realized that the first person you meet is going to decide your fate in
That's
America. So
true.
if you get the
That's
wrong
true.
information, you're going to take the wrong path, except you meet someone along the way. So Immigrant Guide came around to help us. If you're off course, you can get back on course. And then if you just arrived, they can help you with the cases you have, if school, all things to do with that. But other than that, Immigrant Guide started the Uganda Independence Summit so that us as Ugandans can get a platform where we can speak, about meaningful things in our society, where we can speak boldly without, uh, you know, being subjected to what the system is, where we can speak out our views on health, immigration, education, business, what ideas are out there, what banks are for us, what banks are not for us. So this is a very great platform where we get to meet people that are actually, in these places already, and they already have a background and understanding. So we as Ugandans should use this platform as much as we can to get all this information, because you never know how something is going to work for you. So this summit is really for you. It's for our communities, for us to get unified and come together and think together in anything to do with our families, children, and the society. So I am really excited on how this program is going to go and all the things that we're going to, hear about. Really
Yes,
excited.
I'm so excited about this year's theme because it's reimagining community in today's reality. And if you look at the theme, the word community has unity within it, and we're
Mm-hmm.
capitalizing more on unity to be sure to make sure that Ugandans, we're in a different region. We're not back home. We're in North America, and we have to capitalize on being unified in these hard times of today's reality. We're facing COVID-19, there's a lot of mental health issues. You'll see there's immigration changes that are going on here and there.
Yes.
So we need to capitalize on the unity. And in today's session, we're going to talk about the different challenges that we're facing as Ugandans in North America.
And if I
We
can ask, Agatha, when you think of the word unity and our community, um, how do you see it? Do you have a vision of where you would like to see us as Ugandans in North
Yes.
California and the whole
Yes,
of
I
America,
would
basically?
love to see Ugandans more together as a community. Yes, we have different communities in different states, but I would love Ugandans to be more unified because I believe we still have struggles in that area when it comes to being unified. There's a lot of struggles going on here and there in the different communities across the country. So I envision a Ugandan community in North America that is more together and strong, and where we can help each other through all the difficulties.
Yeah.
And I think that will help us to be stronger as a community, and the different individuals will grow because of the unified community and the different support that we'll be getting as a community.
Yes.
Yes. So we can go. We can go into the Afromenko band. I want you guys to enjoy the music. Dance is
Yes,
not
I
going to
cannot
be
wait.
just talk. It's not going to be just talk. We also have a band, so we want you to enjoy the music. The band is called Afromenko Band.
Wow. I love that.
Hello, everybody. This is Afromenko Band tonight. We are excited to celebrate Uganda with Ugandans in the United States. Actually, this is our second time partnering with Immigrant Guide to celebrate Uganda and our culture together. My name is Angel Adio, all the way from Uganda with Afromenko Band. And on the guitar is none other than Marshall Afromenko. On the keys is Pastor Pipi tonight. On the bass line is Tevin Mulira, Bishop. And the heartbeat of the band is none other than Ronnie Moore. We're really excited to have us tonight. Please enjoy every bit of it. Over to you, Agatha and Brenda. Thank you so much for hosting us tonight.
Yeah, so this next song is called Ijatu Jende of my first album, and it means come let's go. Please enjoy.
You guys.
Welcome back. That was Afro Manco Band. The music was so nice and soulful. Okay, sorry about that. Welcome back. That was Afro Manco Band. And the music was so nice and soulful because we are celebrating Uganda's independence today. Earlier we had workshops, mental health workshops that were facilitated by our community peer educators trained by the program for torture victims, and it's under the support and funding of the Department of the Mental Health in Los Angeles. Also, tomorrow we have different sessions. Today, I'll start with today. Today we have a session with the community leaders in North America, and tomorrow we have other sessions. Brenda, do you want to take us through what we have in tomorrow's sessions?
Oh wow! Tomorrow we have immigration in the morning. So if you have any immigration issues, we got the best lawyers ready to answer any questions. And if you need, something to search about or want to know the depth of it, we'll have that in the morning. Then the health, and after that, we'll have the business time. We have a lot of entrepreneurs in our community, people that own companies, CEOs, bank starters. So we're gonna discuss how to go about business in as an immigrant, as someone that is not here, as a Ugandan. Where do you get your loans? Who is able to help you? How do you save? How do you start? So those are all the programs that we're ready to discuss tomorrow.
Okay, and it's Independence Day in Uganda already. Also here in the United States, tomorrow, different Ugandan communities are going to be celebrating. In Ohio, the Ohio community is going to be celebrating. Texas, the DMV community has a picnic. And Massachusetts has the soccer team, which is celebrating the UNA Youth Tournament because they won during that tournament. And then also Illinois community has it has a celebration. I think they have a dinner. What do you guys have in California besides the summit, Brenda?
We always have a very big gala dinner where we just eat and enjoy. As Ugandans in California, we love to enjoy to the fullest. So definitely that will be happening on Saturday.
Okay. And I'll go back to that question to you, Brenda. As a Ugandan, what makes you proud to be Ugandan?
Wow.
I know.
Ugandans. I first of course my parents are from Uganda. So everyone knows in California I'm so into God. So the fact that he placed me in Uganda, my parents are from Uganda, that means already he knew my purpose. I would grow my purpose in Uganda. I would be mentored in Uganda. So the system of how we grew up in Uganda, as a girl child or as a male child, I love that. There is hard stages, but it makes you who you are. And Ugandans are able to manage in any society because of how we've been raised in our cultures, and our parents tell us what to do. So when I compare a girl that is raised here and one that's raised in Uganda, there's a very, very big difference. And then Ugandans, because of our diverse languages and communities, we all come up with, different unique ways of doing things. We have all these food types that are from all these different places. The dancing, oh my gosh, like there's a dance in every community. The way we dress, the people are really nice and calm because every society, we learn how to work with each other throughout our growing. So being a Ugandan for me is a person that is able to go in any community and adjust and be able to work with people. And what I hear about many people that have met Ugandans is the character, the calmness, the nice people naturally, because God has really made us that way. So I'm really proud to be Ugandan, I could say.
Yeah. On my side, I would say the weather. Oh my goodness. This year I've been on the extremes of both weathers. I've been in Arizona with the heat in summer, and then I've also been in Chicago with the wind and the coldness there to the extremes. So that kept reminding me of the weather back home, because it's so balanced. It's never too cold, it's never too hot. It's just balanced. Then when you talk about food, we have fresh food. We don't have those pop-up markets. We always have markets that have fresh food, like organic food, which is expensive here. And when you go back home, it's like everywhere. And that makes me so proud of my home, because we're healthy, I would say. We live a healthy lifestyle. Yeah, that's what I should say. And another thing that makes me proud to be Ugandan is our skin color. I love our skin color. It's very nice, beautiful, I should say. Yeah. And next, we're gonna dive into the community leadership sessions.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Abachala n'abaami mbalamusizza. My names are Joanne Namugabo. I'm a program coordinator, Immigrant Guide. I welcome you all to the Ugandan Independence Summit 2021, organized by Immigrant Guide. First of all, I want to thank the team that has put up this together. The Immigrant Guide team, the community leaders, the volunteers, and everyone else who has invested their time. Thank you so much. Before I forget, Happy Independence, Uganda. Happy Independence, everyone. In Immigrant Guide, we work with different immigrants, the asylum seekers, victims of human trafficking, refugees, among others, and we have different programs and projects, among which we work with the youth. I'm so proud this year to have led a team from Immigrant Guide that sponsored this UNA Soccer Youth Tournament in Cincinnati, Ohio. We are so proud to have supported the youth from different communities, from different states all over North America. We do different programs and projects. You can visit us on our website and on our social media platforms to see the work we do. Thank you so much and enjoy the event.
Olá, senhoras e senhores, muito prazer em conhecê-los. Hello, my name is Marakage and I'm Immigrant Guide's Program Manager, and myself an immigrant from Brazil. The organization missions to support, guide, and improve access to resources and information to elevate our immigrant community here in the United States. I wanted to highlight two initiatives that we have been developing during this challenging COVID times to respond to unique gaps. First, our funding distribution initiative. We've provided community members in vulnerable positions that have not been part of the federal government COVID relief plan with meaningful funding support. And second, we've conducted vaccination clinics as well as community dialogue to address vaccination hesitancy through also partnering with local community-based organizations here in the Seattle area. Both initiatives aim to address immediate gaps that our communities are experiencing. And we hope that the organization's work and this event will inspire you to think more deeply and engage in matters towards the well-being of the immigrant community. Thank you.
Mbalamusizza nnyo bassebo Nebanyawo. My name is Impima Mugambe, and I'm the team leader at Immigrant Guide. Immigrant Guide is a non-profit organization specifically serving vulnerable immigrants. Our approach to community service is community-centered, community inclusive, and our engagement strategy is focused on sustainability. We try to support our communities in a way that they can continue with the same kind of projects, even in the absence of Immigrant Guide. We believe that achieving that very mark is the beginning of a long journey to community change. Most of our projects that you have heard our team talk about are implemented in collaboration with our communities. And the best example is the Uganda Independence Summit that we are attending right now. We have always partnered with community organizations like UCOC since 2019. This year is the third year we are organizing the Uganda Independence Summit, engaging you, our communities, in deep conversations on several topics. Our uniqueness as Immigrant Guide lies in working at the intersection of social work and technology. Our successes wouldn't have been achieved, or couldn't have been achieved, without the support of you, our wonderful community, and our partners who have donated to our organization generously. Thank you very much. Mwebale nnyo, mwebale gedda. Enjoy this summit, and I cannot wait to hear your feedback. Thank you.
welcome back from the entertainment by Afromenco Band. That is very good music. It took me back home. And right now we have the community leadership session, and it's going to the discussion is going to revolve around topics of unity, community, and the current trends of today's reality. We have Miss Susan Quizera as one of the panelists, and she is the president of the Uganda Community Organization in California, and this is her second term. We also have Mr. Martin Tege, who is the Uganda North American Association representative for Pacific Northwest, and he is the vice president for the Pacific Northwest Uganda American Association. And we also have Miss Hanifa Nachiriowa, and he is the Uganda North American Association representative for the DMV region. And she is also a motivation speaker on TEDx. I believe you've all watched TEDx videos. And she is also part of a number of nonprofit organizations that aim at improving the livelihood of Ugandans. Welcome, everyone.
Thank you.
So today we are, before we get into the discussion, I want to juggle your memories a little. And I ask you, what is your most earliest recollection of the Ugandan independence celebrations, and how do you understand the Ugandan independence? I can start by telling you my earliest recollection of the Ugandan independence celebrations. First, my earliest is when I was in high school, because I don't really remember how it was in primary school, but that was because in high school it was because we didn't have to go to class. We had it was a public holiday, so that was it for me to celebrate. And then right now is the first time I've really been part of an independence celebration, and I'm so proud that I'm doing this right now. And what independence means to me, it means that we as a country, we are running as a country, and it brings peace and togetherness, and it reunites us. I believe independence reunites us as a country. So you, as the panelists today, and the community leaders in the Ugandan communities in North America, could you tell us your earliest recollections of the Ugandan independence celebrations and what independence is? I can start with Miss Hanifa Nachiriowa.
That's quite interesting that you bring back memories of our initial recollections of independence. I remember, of course, it would be a public holiday, so there was no school. And I remember in my primary school, I was in primary 5, and I lived close to Kololo Airstrip, and that was my first time to see President Museveni. I think I was about 11 years old, and I remember seeing lots of military marching and inspecting the parade and giving a speech, and different schools, coming to the Kololo airstrip to commemorate the Independence Day in the presence of the president. That's my recollection of that.
Okay. And Mr. Antege, what's your earliest recollection of the Ugandan independence celebrations?
My earliest, I would say, first of all, I would say good evening, members, and thank you for organizing such a beautiful debate or session, translator of Ugandans. My earliest, I've always celebrated independence because I've been here for a while in our small communities. We have always celebrated, but the celebrations that I really loved were the ones that when I was still in Uganda, where it's a public holiday, as everyone is saying, going to Kololo. I stopped going to Kololo when I was, I think, senior 4, all my primary and secondary school up to senior 4, I was in Scouts. And I happened to be a leader. So you just imagine with your stick and shout, oh yeah, and then everybody turns and, that was a time to celebrate. But I really still believe that many of our people don't really understand what independence is. Why are we celebrating it? Because probably they don't know. But we still celebrate it, and we know we can take care of ourselves and be happy in one way or another. Thank you.
Sorry about that. Yes, I think it's a very good point that we get to talk about our earliest recollections. I'll ask Miss Susan to please tell us about her earliest recollections of the independence.
Hello, good evening, everyone. And thank you. You all look so wonderful.
Thank you.
Yes, what do I remember about the Ugandan independence? I don't remember actually getting involved in any celebration, but I've been celebrating it, and I'm so proud that Uganda got its independence, and we are now independent people from the British colony and all that. And I always tell people that yes, Uganda is independent, but I think it's we need to celebrate it as we people, to feel that we are independent ourselves. Like we are independent, and we show it where we are, that we are Ugandans. We are independent. Independence means you are independent in so many things. You have an independent mind. You are you are out of people being tell you what to do or things like that. So I always celebrated the last 18 years. I've been here, and it's always a pleasure to come out and have different minds, say different ideas, and meet people who can tell us more about what they think, what Ugandan independence means to you. So I'm here to celebrate with you, and thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us in the Ugandan independence celebrations. I want to ask Mr. Antege, what motivated you to serve the community, and what does the community mean to you as a leader and as a member of the community?
Thank you very much. My community service comes all the way from Uganda when I was actually a young boy. That I've grown up in a Catholic setup. My dad has been, those who know the Catholic setup, has been a Saba Christus, Saba Fumbo. He has been LC1, he has been LC2. And I'm his first son. I've been behind him all the time in communities. I've been an altar boy. I've been the youth chairman so many times in different. I come from Old Kampala. I've grown up in Old Kampala, and this is family that my dad has made us love communities and serve communities. This is where my background starts, and as I've been growing and serving in communities, I've been given different opportunities. One of my biggest challenges were I was part of the second Pope Paul II in Uganda. I was one of the organizers for the youth to Nachivubo. That was a big challenge, and I've always been put forward by the people, by the community, and I myself love the community. But when I came here, it's totally something different. That some of our members don't love being in communities. There's so many challenges, but I've always been there. That I don't know, probably I might be blessed, but I make a lot of friends, and each community. Right now, sorry, I did not introduce myself. First of all, my names are Martin Intege Chiwanuka. I am the vice president of Panoa in Washington State. The representative of UNA of North Pacific Northwest. I came from Canada, where I've been many years. I moved here in 2 years, the last 2 years, and I'm the vice president. And the first thing that I had to find when I came here 2 years ago is to find communities. I've been in Canada, I've been the chairman, and then training the youth. There's so much that I love the people. Their community, as I was reading and the theme of the day, reimagining community unity in today's reality. There's so much about community that I really love to serve. People that come together with the same characteristics, the same goals, the same values. That's why I really love communities. And communities have helped me as a person. When I came in 2004 in Canada, I came, first of all, I was greeted by a community, the Uganda Matters in Toronto. These people took care of us for a full year. Some of us didn't have papers. They gave us plates, they gave us this, that, and that. And they took care of us. And I've always given myself to be that one person. If I change one person in a community, if I can help one person in a community, I involve myself. I do my personal business. I do construction, flipping homes and all that. I've been getting jobs through community. As long as we identify the same goal, community is one of the best things we could get of. I know sometimes right now that communities are created because of business. We are getting away, we are getting off track, and communities, we get identified. The Baganda say when you're introducing yourself as a Muganda, you say your name, you say your daddy's name, you say your judge's name, and all the entire line. That identifies you, who you are. Being part of the
sorry to cut you short. And when you say that when you're introducing yourself, you have to mention your background and where you come from. I believe Uganda is actually built by communities, I should say. And I want to move on to the next question. We have seen leaders failing to build onto what the previous leaders started. And yet, in today's reality, communities need to see continuity in leadership sessions. So, in leadership services, sorry. So, what does a leader need to do to build, grow, and sustain the momentum of community leadership? And as a leader, how have you applied this, Ms. Hanifa?
Thank you so much, Agatha. Again, my name is Hanifa Nachirewa, and I am the UNA Council representative for Mid-Atlantic Region 2, and that includes DMV, that's Washington, D.C., Maryland, Virginia, Pennsylvania, Delaware, and West Virginia. As a leader, I usually say that a leader is born, is not made. When I say that, I mean that in most cases, once you take up the responsibility to lead others, it comes naturally. And as a natural leader, some of the key aspects that I can talk about to build, grow, and sustain is being flexible and being allowing yourself to be vulnerable is the hardest thing for people to do. But if you want to be an impactful and an impactful leader who is building legacy for others to build upon, you have to be willing to be vulnerable and let your community sometimes you are a leader, but your community is leading you into fulfilling the mission of your leadership, because you are amplifying, you are representing the views and aspirations and perspectives of your community. You are bringing your community together. You are promoting unity, exactly the theme of today's topic, reimagining community, and we are emphasizing unity. So we are promoting unity, we are mobilizing resources, we are creating a reason why people should come together as part of the community. It can be business, it can be social support, especially in a time like this. The pandemic has really challenged us to rethink what community should look like. When I look back to where I come from in Uganda, we are best off of community. You know, we have the saying, it takes a village to raise a child. And that is what we bring with us as community leaders, to demonstrate that we need the village to raise us as the leaders. We need the village to raise us as the children. So that's what I bring with me as a leader for sustainability, to build a legacy that it's participatory. I lead while also my community leads me. So that's an asset that I can proudly say that I have, that I kind of step back, reflect, and let my community evaluate and see where things are not going right. I let them hold a dialogue, and as a result, we create a strong community that brings us together, irrespective of our socioeconomic and cultural and religious backgrounds. It brings us together as a community, as one community. When you talk about how I have applied that, I think I have mentioned that. I can give examples. I came here in Pittsburgh 6.5 years ago. I spent a year in California before I came to Pittsburgh. And it's in Pittsburgh that I really created community, because I came here as a graduate student, an international student, with nothing but my 2 kids. And to come to a country where you know nobody, the first thing you want to know is there is someone who understands you.
That's
That's
right.
that's the starting point of community. I have mentioned in my TED talk that every statistic begins with 1. So every community begins with a number 1. So I needed to find that one person that could understand what I'm talking about. And indeed, I found a Ugandan who would tell me how to navigate the region. When I came here as a grad student with 2 kids who are 4 and 8, I have to enroll them in school. I have to be in school. I have to figure out transportation. I have to figure out all different services as an international student. That is not provided in the schools in most cases, because they don't know what we want. So that was the starting point for me to lead the mission, to bring the community together, to mobilize every Ugandan in Western Pennsylvania, and to see how we can support each other, both in good times and in bad times. And indeed, COVID-19 has proven that we built something that we took for granted. We didn't know how strong a community we are until we were challenged by the pandemic, that we had to come together as a community to demonstrate that we can stand there for each other in times of isolation. When someone is locked up in the house, imagine you're locked up in the house and you don't know who to talk to. But in our region, we knew who to talk to, we knew who to reach out to, people knew how to give me a call, and we knew how to mobilize to see how we can come together and join hands to support each other.
Exactly. And you've mentioned about building a legacy. How would you ensure that that legacy is carried on to, let me say, when you go out of power, how would you ensure that the legacy you've built is continued with by other leaders? It does not die out.
Just be the vessel. Don't be the mastermind. Be the vessel. allow power to pass through you to the next generation or to the next leader. Be an example, lead by example. That even when you're not there, people know what you did, how you did it, that even when you're not there, they can take it on without any hitches or glitches, and life goes on.
Okay. So in every community, we know that every community thrives on unity, like what you just mentioned. And as Ugandans in North America, we face a big challenge when it comes to unity. I'll pose this question to Miss Susan. How do you build a sustainable, unified community? And as a community president, what challenges have you faced while implementing this in your community in California?
Good evening again. My name is Susan Nalongo Akwizera, the Ugandan Community President of California. Yes, I'm sorry, I'm in between tomorrow's function and today, so bear with me when my camera gets off. Yes, unity. It's been a challenge, especially for me, but also I believe that it has given me the chance to grow into my purpose, and knowing that leadership is not just, what we want, but it's about serving people, and also serving everybody despite of who they are, where they come from, but leadership is for everybody. Yeah, I came into, started running in 2015. I didn't go through, because of my vision. I kept on, coming in and wanting to, be part of my community, serving them, on another level until 2018. I was elected, and then, pandemic came 2020. But I've seen definitely since that time we've been divided. But I never stopped serving. I never stopped trying to bring people together. I never felt like this is too much for me. I really thought that there is a reason why there is this, this unit. Thank you.
Okay. When you notice the disunity among Ugandans in the community, what measures did you take to try to unify the community? And while you were taking those measures, what challenges did you face when you were trying to implement unity?
Actually, I was saying thank you to the noise. I think there is a lot of noise in the background. If someone can mute their ends, I don't know who, because I was really getting a hard time to hear you guys. I don't know if everybody's hearing me very well.
Yes, we can hear you clearly.
Okay, we've been taking measures of definitely having reconciliation team to talk to, I would say in my own Californian community, we had two presidents at, like the last 2 years. And recently we had two elections, and eventually after the elections, this other president opened up his own organization. But during that journey, it was very hard to bring people together, but we insisted on the constitution that governs the, organization. So for me, what gave me strength is to be, to be doing the right thing. And when I'm saying the right thing is the, the constitution of the organization. And I really continued with what the past leaders did, and I tried not to do a different thing. So that gave me strength to keep on hoping that one time people will come together or will realize that probably the other group is not the right group. And of course, a lot of challenges when it comes to organizing, events. You organize an independent, and other group organizes its own. So it's been a big challenge, but I've never felt like, I want to quit, or this is very hard. Why is this happening? Because I believe that everything happened for a reason, and there is so much, not myself alone, but also the community have really learned a lot through what has been happening for the last few years when it comes to unity and division and, not working together. So, yes, I've faced a big challenge, but again, I've grown into my purpose, I believe, and I've really grown to be a strong leader. And, I wouldn't say that it has stopped me from serving people. No, when I'm called to go anywhere, I go and I serve, my purpose. If there is a need, definitely I'll get into that and, serve it with all my heart and my love, because that's what, I'm called to do, not because the people are divided, or not because there is a disunity, no, but because I've been called to serve, then I have to serve God's people. And it is, for me, yes, a big challenge. I would say, I wish we had one community, or we had one president. But again, it didn't stop me from serving my community and doing what I'm called to do.
Thank you so much for your service. Mr. Ntege, you've mentioned that with what you've mentioned, you have a very strong background in leadership. So as a leader at the moment, what do you suggest we can do to mitigate these unity challenges within our communities? Could you please unmute yourself?
Oh, I think I did.
We can hear you now.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
One of the things that when I came in, sometimes it's not nice to talk about your community, but you got to when you have to. When I came in Washington State, we had a few wrangles, and being that I wasn't all here, I was just coming in. One thing is sit down on a round table and understand each other. Why do we have our communities? What are our challenges? You sit down, you don't fight back. Once you start sitting down and understanding each other, what are our objectives as an association? What do we want to do? You got to understand the language. The only problem that we have, as I'm not going to say as Ugandans, because it happens in every association, we have failed to listen to each other. Not because you might have a different view, I might have a different view, but come on the table, understand each other. When we do this, what are the disadvantages or advantages? Why are we doing this? What are the on the other side? That is how we have been able right now. We're moving Washington State. I would say I've had so many communities. We're one of the strongest communities that are growing up because we put our challenges on the table, our goals are on the table, and we are right now moving forward. This is what I want to see in the UNA, where I'm representing my constituency. This is what I want to see in different regions. People getting together. We right now, because of community, we are trying, because we have our own reason why we are creating groups. with political or business, that you're not part of my political group, so I won't listen to you. But I don't want to talk about politics, and I've always said I hate politics. No matter that, I can't take it out of people's mind. I'm a politician. I want it so much, but I've tried so much to put politics out of my community, because this is one of the things that is really killing our communities and dividing us. What common goals do we have? We put them on the table and see, because there's so many people who come here. There's so many people who look at us and see, I want to do this. How can I help you? The one thing that I really commend is to sit down, have a dialogue, reconcile. We somehow there is a way that you might do that, and some of us don't listen. But I've tried that as members, let us sit down. What do we want in our next generation? We're leaving the kids out. And I've always told people, do not be selfish. Let us involve the youth. Tomorrow we are not here. Our population, young population, is growing up. Look 30, 40 years away from now. Are they becoming the African Americans that everybody is talking about, with no values, with no respect? Is this the community we want? Then we got to get on the table, and have a dialogue and do what we are supposed to do as a community, because we all know our background. We all know where we come from. We all know where we want to go. Those few that say, I hate Uganda, that bothers me a lot. Sometimes I think they also moved away from their villages in Uganda, but which is not the case. But when we come here, we try to separate. But I've always tried. It's a dialogue. That's number one. Let's work together. I'll listen to you. I'll be selfish because we want the communities to move forward. And that is all my call in all organizations. Let us work together. Let us be one person. Let us be all together. That's when our communities are going to move forward. Thank you.
Thank you. And since you've talked about us being together, we've seen different African communities in North America portray togetherness, they portray unity, they portray organization within their communities. So, Ms. Hanifa, what lessons should we learn from these communities that portray unity and organization and strategy within them?
Thank you once again, Agatha, and thank you, Mr. Antege, for pointing out those key aspects of our community. I have had an opportunity to be in different African countries and in different diaspora countries where I have engaged with different communities from other African countries. And the one thing I will point out first is there is no such a thing as a perfect community.
That's true.
Once we acknowledge that as the foundation, then it challenges us to think of ways we can use our imperfections as an asset to strengthen us as a community. Once we begin from the point of the gaps that we have and acknowledge them, I think it gives us a good leverage for us to build a stronger community. I'll give an example of Asian communities. My current landlord is from Pakistan. And one thing I learned from them is they come together as a community, identify a challenge or a gap that they have within their community, and think of strategies they can mobilize resources together and identify one member of the community that they can hold hands with and lift them up and cheer them on. And every success that individual makes is the success of the entire community. He's celebrated, he's cheered on by the entire community. And that creates accountability, self-accountability in that individual in everything that they do moving forward. It also plants the sense of paying it forward. If I know that my community trusted me and invested in me and cheered me on and held my hand, they are planting a seed in me to do the same thing for others in my community. And that is a lesson that I have learned from those other communities. It is something that I apply in my day-to-day life. As you may have read my bio, I do philanthropy. And that's something I do in my work back home. I run non-profit organization home with women and children. And one thing I tell them, they don't know me because they've never seen me. They only hear about me. And when they have a chance to speak to me over the phone, they keep asking me one question. Hanifa, where do you get the heart to support someone you have never met or even may never meet? And my answer always is, I am paying it forward. And my appeal to you is pay it forward to another person. If we learn that culture of self-accountability, to know that we have a responsibility to uplift our community, then we would promote our own community as Ugandans. And I have seen that being done by our current president. I'm not here to promote anyone, but that's what I know because that's what I see. We have seen different programs in the past 2 years that have been promoted, have been bashed, but we are seeing how they are strengthening community. I am benefiting from one of the trade and investment forum group that is going on, trying to support and educate Ugandans on how to invest their money so that our money can work for us instead of us being slaves to the money, you know. And that has been growing. That education platform is growing exponentially. It is free of charge. People are volunteering to do that. And one thing we keep saying is if all Ugandans can do this, we would really be such a wonderful and strong community that others can learn from. From that, then take it to the next level. Why can't we mobilize our resources to invest in real estate, like other communities we see, like the Mexicans who do that? You know, we have seen many different African communities doing that. I'll give an example of South Sudanese and the Ethiopians and the Eritreans. They are together. They do projects together. They go back home and do their own projects in their countries. Their countries are torn by civil wars, but you still see the progress that is going on based on their communities in the diaspora. What is it that we can do as Ugandans? We don't have to have multi-million dollars sitting in our accounts. We just have to have the will to do it. Even $10 does a lot back home, if you all know what $10 can do back home. How do we come together and embrace everyone, irrespective of socioeconomic status, to be one community under one mission? And that's one thing we can learn from other communities.
Thank you so much, Ms. Hanifa. You've talked about mobilizing resources and putting resources together and also utilizing the opportunity given to us by community members that are capable or that are enabled to access certain resources. So this next question is going to go to Miss Susan because she is a president in the California community, and you'll find that in many different Ugandan communities in North America, there is some individuals that struggle to get resources and they do not know what to do or they do not know where to go when they're in need. So Miss Susan, what are the key access avenues that you have provided as a president to your community?
Thank you, Agatha. Yes, as an organization, we were able to get an office, which has a lot of, access in so many, things our community needs. Our organization didn't have an office, when we get into power. A lot of members were struggling where to go, who take me here, where can we get access to jobs or hospital, wherever it is. We put on, up an office. We had our secretary, our treasurer, and myself working very hard to see that those people, Ugandans who come in, have access to, their next place. We've been, of course, able to engage other communities, write grants, get in touch with, other communities so that we can learn, from them and bring it to our own organization. But, still, like, I said, a lot of, challenges when it comes to division. People choose to, I'll go to Susan or I'll go to this other person. But again, we have all these access, phone number. We have churches, we work with, especially when it comes to people who come in. We have churches. We have Ugandan churches like, Community Ugandan Church. We have other 3 churches. So we have all those resources where we take our people and, guide them. We have, different people in the community who have businesses, and these people also, we work with them to see that our people who come in have places to, to go. And also, we were able to initiate when COVID, hit in 2020. We reached out to our people, provided food, we provided money. Those who lost their loved ones. We were busy, doing what we're supposed to do as a community, but, also, first of all, the access to where our people need to, go. That, I have to talk about Immigrant Guide, referred people to Michael, program for torture victim, different lawyers around. So these are all resources through our offices and access. So when people call us, definitely they find where to go. But again, the unity part, this is where the challenges is. It's not that we don't have resources. It's not that we don't have where to go. It's not that we don't have, people to look up to. But the challenge is us as Ugandans. We choose to do what we want. We choose to promote what we want. We choose to go where we want, and then forget that we have to be one. We have to be one. We have to work together. Even when our offices is open, people will choose not to come. So here we need to actually change the mindset as Ugandans in diaspora. We have to change the narrative if we want to grow, to another level, if we want to become one. Sitting down, we have sat down, we have had the reconciliation team in our own community. It didn't work. So now what is going to work? We need to change our mindset. We need to change the narrative, the way we see things. One of my friends talked about the politics. He hates politics, but now when I look around, it's politics around. It's actually making it worse for us to grow to another level. So what can we do? What can we do actually to put politics out of this, out of our community? What can we focus on, to see that politics is out of this whole thing? Because I don't believe, I don't care what people say about, you support this, but this is not who we are. We promote our people here. We promote our children. I am a mother of 3 boys. I don't even have time to think about politics, but I'm looking at the programs that my children are going to benefit. I'm looking at the next generation. What are they going to benefit from me after I'm gone? I'm looking the next people coming in, United States, like me who have been here the 18 years ago. Those are the things I'm looking at. I'm looking at making UNA a better place, not fighting and bringing in politics. So bottom line is, we have so many things. We have access to many things in here in America. but how are we going to benefit? You know, how are Ugandans, California, going to benefit from the opportunities that are here in California? So, to me, we are, we have to keep doing what, we do. And despite of what's happening, division, I'm still pushing on. I'm still believing that we are going to be one, and we are going to be better and do better things. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Why I was laughing when you mentioned we need to do away with politics, or somebody said that they hate politics. That reminded me, recently we were talking with Mr. Pima Mugambe, and we were talking about politics, and I was like, I don't like politics. I don't like how people have to involve politics in everything that we do. And then he said that we cannot do away with politics because politics are what shape our communities. That's the first thing you should know. Everything is politicized. The only thing we can do is to practice good politics and do away with the bad politics, because we cannot do away with politics completely. We have to have leaders, we have to have policies, we have to have laws that govern us, so we cannot do away with politics. And you've also mentioned something about supporting people that lost their loved ones and those who did not have food. Because we're going through this tough time of COVID-19, the community is facing so many changes. So, Ms. Hanifa, how do you propose our communities to adapt and take advantage of these changes brought about by COVID-19?
Thank you so much, Agatha, for that question. And thank you, Susan, for your wonderful remarks that you have made. The one thing that my personal lesson learned from these challenges we have experienced during the pandemic is the need for sustainable solutions to the challenges that we face. When we come to the diaspora as Ugandans, we carry our cultural traditions with us. Actually, cultural traditions are what we put in our baggage before we do anything else. So I'll give an example. We have lost many loved ones during the pandemic. And as a cultural tradition, it is our obligation to give a mabugo, to make sure that people go back home. We have a tendency of not writing wills as Ugandans. No, it may not be just Ugandans, but I'm a Ugandan. That is what I know as a Ugandan. We have a tradition of not writing wills because we don't want to sign our death sentences before we are dead. But it is very critical to have a living will in place as we still live. As time goes on, each new birthday that you celebrate, think about the milestones and think about where your life is and think about, re-envision where you see your future and revisit your living will and see what adjustments you can make it. Because life changes every year. We make adjustments in life. We make transitions in life every year. Every new birthday, there is a transition, right? And that gives us an opportunity to go back. It's like a journal. If we can treat living wills as a journal of our life and our life after here, it would help us normalize it as a part of our lifestyle, because it is a reality at the end of the day. With or without the will, we have to live this life and transition into the next. But what happens to the people we leave behind? Secondly, we need to have a plan in place. We come here to hustle. We really hustle and do not plan for the time we are really going to be down. And we give out the money, we lavish everything. But this pandemic has really challenged us to think about sustainability. How do we sustain the tradition of giving mabugo? Everyone was challenged in the pandemic, including those ones who didn't lose any loved one. They lost jobs. Yes, those who did not lose jobs, they lost salaries. People have not been paid. Those who did not lose salaries, responsibilities increased. The inflation rate is high. Mm-hmm. Kids kids are expensive here in the US. You know, moms had to give up their jobs to take care of children because daycare centers were closed. So that burden, in addition to taking care of our loved ones who have died because there was no plan in place, I think that was a big wake-up call for us as a Ugandan community. How do we come up with sustainable solutions to such challenges that we can have solutions for? Like Mabugo, how do we come together as a community to have a program where people know that at least when my loved one dies, I don't have to create a GoFundMe. I thought that in our culture, they taught us in Toyanika Buzinabo Muruja. That is part of it, right? So when we start saying, oh, banage and feed it, and we want to create a GoFundMe, you know, mubantu. But when we mobilize as a community and we have a sustainable plan in place, tiomuntu wange bwaba nfuddeko, I know where to go and say, Banage, my name is so and so. My community knows me. They have my name. They have my records. I am a contributor to this kind of program, so that we know mutagenda kubeera ku pressure ng'omuntu akaabira omuntu waafudde at the same time akaaba butya bw'agenda okweŋŋanga ekintu ekyo okwata omuntu okumuzzeeka kuba ebiseera ebisinga abantu abasinga me I tell my kids however you want to do it, it's in your powers, right? Abantu abasinga baagala kubazzaayo kajja amaze emyaka 2 nga tabeera nga famire ye yonna eri wano 20 years agikuliza wano ne bw'afa ayagala bamuzzeeyo eka nga famire ye yonna eri wano, you know. So those are some of the things we really need to think through as a community and come up with sustainable solutions to such challenges. All I want to say is sustainability in every program that we run.
Yeah. About what you just said, when somebody passes on, they want to be returned back home. I think it's because of our culture and how we've been brought. We feel like when you're back home, you have your loved ones to visit you and take care of the graveyards. We have that tradition in back home, which they don't have here. So somebody's thinking, first of all, I have to pay for a burial ground, which is very expensive, and then nobody will come visit me. Probably my people will totally forget about me, so I prefer being returned back home. And yeah, I think those are the reasons why most people decide that they want to be taken back home, and why we do not prepare ourselves for our deaths by not writing wills. Death is such a scary it's such a scary thought. So that's why we feel like, oh no, I don't need to have a will right now. Maybe because I feel like I still have years to live, so we don't have the wills. And you've mentioned about the many challenges that we've faced by COVID-19. You talked about inflation. I've noticed buying things, big things, maybe like cars or houses, there's a lot of inflation when it comes to that. Even used cars are very expensive. Houses right now are very expensive. But then people should utilize the parts of if you want to start a business or you want to buy a house. Right now, the interest rates are really low compared to how they were before the pandemic. So you could utilize that chance and take advantage of the changes that we're having in the community right now. You can say, I'm going to get a loan and enjoy the low interest rates that are out there. And again, we are facing a great challenge when it comes to mental health. We had it before, but then because of COVID-19, it has become a way bigger issue because people lost their jobs, people lost their loved ones. So you'll find that mental health problems are increasing in numbers. And Mr. Ntege, I did not forget about you. How can we tackle the mental health issues and encourage our community members to get assistance? Because you've noticed most of our community members, or where we come from, we don't believe in getting assistance when it comes to mental health issues. We think those are problems that we shouldn't be having as Africans or as Ugandans, and yet those are very big challenges that we need to take care of as a community. So what do you suggest we can do to encourage our community members to get assistance when they have mental health issues and not feel ashamed to seek help?
Thank you, Agatha, and thank you, Susan and Anifa, for all that contribution. That's a very interesting question and a very hard question to answer, but I'll try my best. One, we have to accept as Africans that mental illness is real. We have really failed to accept it. There is a lot of challenges in that we all, our communities really take it in a very different, offensive or I don't know, but mental illness is still a problem in our communities because, as I say, we have failed to accept that this is a problem that we have to tackle. But one thing I really talk about is if we have people in our communities that are experienced, that are doing mental illness. We have always talked to we got our nurses here that we are organizing small sessions that we're talking to our community members about it, but people are not opening up. One thing that I came to know in America is I'll sue you, no matter who is my brother or sister, whatever. That's number one challenge that you're trying to help your community, and people don't really understand that there is a problem. But one thing I do as a person, I've always talked to people that need help. I try to become friends with all the members that are telling me they have issues, contacting their families and finding a way how we can help. One of our members a few months ago, we were trying to help him. One of our ladies was trying to help him, and this gentleman just disappeared. People don't want to accept that we are sick. Somehow we all have a percentage of sickness. But one thing I always recommend to seek professional help. That is one of the ways we're going to help our people. We have lines. We have people who are working there. I talk to these people every day. And this is the only way that we're going to help out. Otherwise, it's a very difficult topic to talk about because we don't accept it. But I still believe once we accept, this is the only way that mental illness and will be tackled. Thank you.
Yes. And I would suggest that community leaders, UNA and the different community presidents, to at least, if I'm not confident enough to come to you and ask for help, at least put the links there or where somebody can go on the different websites that are out there and let the communities know that if you need that help, you can go. Like, nobody's going to know when you click on a link and ask for help out there. So if I'm not confident enough to come to you and tell you that I have this problem and I need help, at least let me be able to know where I can go when I'm in need. And besides mental health and COVID-19, those are one of the challenges that we're facing as a community. We are also facing a problem of racism. We come from a country where we're all one color. We come from a country where we're all one people, where you do not feel like you don't belong because you're home. And then we come to this melted pot of cultures, which is the United States of America, and there's different colors, different languages, yes, we do have different languages back home, but we all identify as Ugandans. But the United States is a melted pot of cultures, and so you find that racism is a very big problem. So you come from home, you do not know the racism problems, and then you get here, you face discrimination because of the skin color, which you didn't know was a problem before. And then you face discrimination because of your accent, which you did not know was a problem before. So, Miss Susan, what do you propose we can do to promote the stand against racism?
Thank you, Agatha. Thank you, Mr. Antege and Hanifa. I think racism, we have to live with it, but it is what it is, because even not only here, but
True. That's true.
not, no, for sure. I'm a Christian. I don't believe in that, but I'm living with it, and really, it does not bother me. And I'm teaching my boys not to be bothered by that, because we are talking about America where we are, but also back home, people are racist, and yet we are just Africans, So I think as people, as leaders here, we have to engage, our communities, our, members into those small workshop and forums regarding racism. I have an organization, it's called Independent Alliance Schools, and I was offered myself to work as an ambassador because my boys go into independent, they're in private school, but they went through Independent Alliance Schools. And these are the things that we are talking about, racism, and that's the reason why I say that, we have to live with it, because it is what it is. But let's talk about it. Talk about it. Talk about it with, your children. Talk about it with the community. Talk about it with friends. So it's living with it, but talk about it. Because when we talk about it, we will, I think, understand it in a better way. Right? I don't, better way, which better way? I don't know. But I think there is a better way to bring it on table. So you know what? We are all the same. We are all created in God's image. I mean, that's a better way. We are all human beings. We are all black and white. We are the same people. Here, that's when we have to actually bring in God 100%, because we are created by God, not man, right? So we are created in his image. So we are God's people. It doesn't matter what the world says, but we are God's people. We were created, in God's image. So when we talk about it, when we bring it to attention, especially, with our children, were born here, but probably, yes, they call themselves African Americans, but literally they're not. Those African, American don't believe they're African American, because their parents immigrated here, were, from Africa. But, we need to put it in them. They need to know who they are, and I love it. When I say this, I mean, you need to know who you are in Christ, not any other thing, because we were born, we were created in God's image. So know who you are in Christ. People, let us not beat around the bush. Where the world is right now, people need to know where they're coming from and who they are. If you don't know who you are in Christ, the world is going to name you who you are. So our children, the next generation, we need to tell them the racism, it's just a word, but we need to really talk about it. We need to make it sound, like this is what people are saying, but it's not what it is. We are all God's people. We are created in God's image. Whether you're black or white, we are all the same. What white person gets, you can get. What school the white person goes to, black people can go to. You can become a doctor. You can become anything you want. But it has to begin with knowing who you are, and knowing who you are in Christ alone. people in Christ alone. You can be a doctor, you can be NFL player, NBA player, but without knowing who you are in Christ, I don't think it's gonna, make a difference. I've seen a lot of people struggling because someone has said you're black. But when you know who you are in Christ, I don't think that will bother you. My accent, I'm very proud, about it. I'm proud of where I come from. And I always talk about, white people. I talk to them about race. Yes, they might think that because I was not raised here, probably I didn't face race, but it doesn't matter. I tell them, we are racist back in Africa, but how do we do it? How do we have to talk about it with our children? So again, back to the community, we need to set up, Zoom meetings or, in-person workshop, speak, talk about it. And I think that's the best way to deal with it. Thank you.
And the fact that you've talked about us living with it, I would say most people get bothered by it. Most people get bothered by it because in the beginning you did not know that it was a problem to have that skin color. You didn't know it was a problem to speak the way you speak. And when you come to a place and somebody mentions some things negative to you, or they treat you a certain way that you didn't know could be a problem, if you do not have a high self-esteem, it can crush you. And I would say it is actually something that we can live with. How I go about it as a person, I look at these people as sad people, because if you cannot live in peace, or you cannot live with other people regardless of the differences you have, then I believe you're sad. You have a lot missing in your life. So I never take it to be my problem. I always turn it to be your problem. Like, that's not my problem. Because I'm this, that's not my problem. It's your problem that you can't live with me in the same environment. And if people knew the history, if people knew that America does not belong to anybody, it is actually a nobody's land, I should say. And people who make you feel like, oh, you don't belong here. Oh, honey, you don't belong here either. So if people get an attitude of appreciating who they are and loving their skin color and appreciating their accents, you don't have to say, oh, because I speak. Some people are actually shy to even speak in public because they feel like their accent is different from the other person's accent. And the best way to go about it is to love yourself and know who you are. Then I want to talk
to
about...
add on that, Agatha, let me just add on just one. Like you said, when it comes to leadership, we as leaders can't give what we don't have. So we need to live by example. And it might not affect you, but if you look at someone and you say, you know what, maybe he or she is sad because, but again, as leaders, we need to speak to them. We need to bring out the truth about the issue. We shouldn't stop talking about it, yet we know that probably it's not bothering us, but it's bothering some people we lead. So how do we do it? Talk about it. Create a group of people, a group of women. Let's talk to our young girls. Let's talk to our young boys about it, because it's becoming issue again. And also with our children who are growing into this confusing world. So knowing who you are and giving what you have yourself. And loving yourself, and then love other people.
Yes, that's true. And we now have 30 minutes into, we now have 30 minutes to conclude the discussion. I want to open the floor to the audience to be able to ask questions. You've all heard what our panelists have to say. You've heard the topics that we've been discussing. So you're welcome to ask any questions across the same topics that we've been breaking down. And as we wait on the audience to to be asking questions, I want us to talk about the immigration changes that we're facing as a community. Personally, I'll talk about the asylum seekers waiting time to be able to apply for work authorization. It was changed from 150 days to 365 days. And that is a very long stretch because, if you don't make any money in America, you're as good as homeless. They're literally pushing you into poverty. So to wait for 365 days for you to be able to make a living, and yet you cannot keep depending on the person who welcomed you here or the person who received you and is showing you the way. You can't keep depending on them because they also have a life. So what do you think can Ugandans do, like the asylum seekers who come here and they don't have jobs in that moment? What do you think we can do as a community, you as the leaders? What do you think we can do to help the Ugandans in that waiting period? Because it's a very long waiting period, honestly. Even 150 days was a lot of days. And now 365 is a very long stretch. So I will start with Miss Hanifa. What do you think Ugandans should do in that waiting period?
Agatha, that's a very good question. Probably it's a question that I would ask. I'm gonna answer your question with a question.
Sure.
Maybe we should ask, what is it that organizations like Immigrant Guide can do to support such people in those kinds of
Yes,
situations?
that's true. Because yes, Immigrant Guide works with different organizations that help asylum seekers, and I think not everybody knows it. So I didn't know Immigrant Guide. If I wasn't involved with this summit, I wouldn't have known Immigrant Guide. But I'm very honored and pleased to be part of it. And I'm thinking all the leaders should get to know the different resources that community members can use and to help themselves when they're in need. We can also talk about financial assistance for individuals. I'll ask Mr. Ntege to tell us what community leaders can do to get funds for the community and also assist individuals that are in need.
Thank you very much, Agatha. Where I come from, but now I'm here. The system of immigration and asylum seekers in Canada is totally different. That everybody that comes in as an immigrant is helped right away to get a job. We call it Get Senga. I don't know what Nabaira record, but in
please
Canada,
elaborate what Get Senga means, because I didn't know of that term.
The Senga is just a simple term that Senga helps you at all times. This is the money you get from the government. As long as you come in Canada, there's a system of their shelters, nice shelters to take care of all people that are coming in. But then you're recommended by your caseworker, then to the federal funds for you to sustain yourself. Get a house, get food and clothing, and all those centers are provided. Unlike in the US, it's totally a different story.
It's a very
different. When I came here, I came in 2018 from Canada. I expected things are gonna be easy. Things were not easy at all. Having my work permit, closing the government, I came into then a pandemic of, things were tough. The only way that I had to sustain myself is joining the Sagala Chogera, everybody, that's what everybody tells you. There is no any other system and have something in your pocket. The system is I don't know, the system is still complicated for any Ugandan that is coming here. We're glad that we have Immigration Guide, by Mr. Mpima Mugambe, who is my good friend that we always communicate about community. How can we help? But when people come here, be young or old, they have families back home to take care of them. I believe, I don't know whether it's an under table, but we have to do. I'm not saying people should do it in but that's the only way to survive. We've been helping those that, once they know your company will be closed. But the entire problem is for those that are helping Ugandans, we use our Ugandans that are here. The little pay, and even the little pay, we don't pay. That hurts me somehow. Do not get free labor. If you can't help any Ugandan, send them to organizations that can help them. Send them to people that can help them. Don't use free labor. But these are people, but I keep on talking about it every day. And I tell people that we have a number, we have both in Uganda Association, Budeka, and Panua. These numbers are out there. We have a website for both organizations. If you're Ugandan that come, you here are new and you need help, reach out to them, to the members, to the executive. We are helping people. These are we have people we know now in government, in different federal offices that are helping out. Mr. Mpima is doing a very good job. This is what we need to do as Ugandans. Some people are trying to push away these members, but just imagine the day you landed in this country, and you got help from somebody, or even if you didn't. So don't pay back to those who are coming here. Well, for now we are coming here for at least to help our families somehow. Not for Kulabanti, we are doing better in life. But we all have different stories. But I'm always telling my people in Washington State, my number is on there. Get to Ntege Martin anywhere, either in Buganda or in a Panua or in a Yuna. I'll find a way to help you. Do not hide. Don't get stressed. Come out. Be part of the community. This is how we're going to reach out to you. This is how we're going to help you. If you don't and people stop you, then that's a big problem. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We have a question from the audience, and I'm going to let I'll let Miss Hanifa answer this question. The question is, what do you think it will take for our communities to adjust and reposition themselves to benefit in the current trends? And when they say current trends, that was from Flavia on Facebook. And when you say current trends, they mean the pandemic, struggling communities, all those different struggles that we're going through. So how can we reposition and adjust ourselves as Ugandans to benefit from these trends that are going on? I'll give that to Miss Hanifa to answer.
Thank you so much, Madam Flavia. I was talking about this exact issue during the day with a colleague of mine that I sit on the same board with. And one thing I told my colleague is every challenge presents us an opportunity.
That's true.
And what this pandemic has done for individuals is it has triggered creativity and innovation in people. People have thought of different means of survival beyond an 8-to-5 office job. Others who are comfortable with 8-to-5 office jobs, they have had an opportunity to reflect and ask themselves if that's where they see themselves the rest of their lives, especially with the pandemic challenges. It has opened up there are so many companies and businesses out there that are hiring. If it is not something that fits in your preferences, there are so many career development opportunities that are going on right now. Where do you see yourself? Do you see yourself in a position where you want to transition to a different career path? This is a great opportunity. You know, technology has simplified everything. You can do an online program while you work. There are so many, we have passed to the era of saying, oh, I have a degree. How do they see me cleaning, in a store? I have a degree. How do they see me drive a taxi? Oh, I told one of my friends about 3 days ago that the dollar has the same color at the end of the day, wherever you earn it
Yeah,
from.
exactly.
Wherever you earn it from, the dollar has the same color. At the end of the day, I pay bills, you pay bills. I might be cleaning toilets in a mall. You are working as the manager in that mall, but we all earn the same color of the dollar. We both pay taxes, we both pay bills, So we are in the diaspora. The one thing I like about diaspora people is tetweganya. We do anything to survive. I am a woman with a master's degree, but I work 2 jobs. My second job is not an office job, and I do it. Why do I do it? The pandemic presented that challenge for me, and I looked for opportunity in the midst of that challenge. How do I continue to run my family when there is such a situation economically that is happening as a result of a pandemic? I can no longer travel to sit on such panels for me to be paid. I can no longer do the consultancy work that I used to do. I am stuck at home and at my 8 to 5 office job. But then my responsibilities did not change as a result of the pandemic. Instead, they actually got worse. So I had to improvise. And the pandemic, in the midst of a challenge, I did my market research and I saw opportunities like Uber Eats, like Grubhub, like DoorDash, like different opportunities. They are out there. We are in a land of opportunities, the land of the free and those ones who dream big. That is the opportunity we have here in the US. Once you want a job, you'll find it the next day. It is up to you to choose which one you want to do. But as long as it pays your bill, why do you weganya omulimo olw'okubanga, at the end of the day, your family has to survive. You don't want to be homeless. Abaseka baseke, buli omu yamanyi bagamba akali amaggwa ke kamanya bwe kagawutanya mukama. So we are looking for survival for the fittest in this country. Those who are successful, they started from somewhere. We all have to start from somewhere to become successful. Not everyone started in a white collar job. We all started from somewhere. I love how Mr. Tege put it out there clearly. When he came, you're struggling and yakola to survive. We all do that. I do that right now, yet I have an office job. But I also have a side hustle. Look for side hustles. This pandemic has presented so many of them because people are sitting at home benefiting on unemployment benefits. So all the jobs they did are out there, available. Look out for them and take care of your family. Those are the opportunities that we have in this trend. Thank you so much, Flavia.
So, like you said, there's so many opportunities. Oh my goodness, there's so many jobs out there. And for the people looking for white collar jobs, I feel like when the pandemic presented opportunities to everybody, including con artists. So while you're looking for jobs, be very vigilant of the con artists. I've been a victim of one of the con artists in this whole thing of looking for jobs. So be very vigilant. Even if it's a white collar job, there is con artists in there. So know how to go about it. And when you talk about people looking down on these jobs, that the blue collar jobs, you'll find that blue collar jobs actually pay more than the white collar jobs, more so when it comes to the entry level. I've done both blue collar and white collar in the United States. And I loved my check from the blue collar job. And I was like, did I get my undergraduate to get this kind of money? It's not what I want. So I found myself giving more hours to the blue collar jobs than the white collar job. And now I feel like if I'm to get a white collar job, I'm not getting any money below this, because now there's opportunities. Companies need people. Companies are looking for people to work. And if I'm willing to work and not depend on the unemployment benefits, then pay me, because you're going to be earning. Anyway, so thank you so much, Miss Hanifa Nachriowa, Miss Susan Quizera, and Mr. Ntege Martin. Thank you so much for being part of this summit. We are celebrating the Ugandan independence today. It's Independence Day in Uganda already, and it's going to be Independence Day tomorrow on October 9th. Thank you so much for being part of this celebration. We really appreciate your time and efforts. We've come to the end of our discussion. I've enjoyed the discussion. We've talked about so many things that I think will actually help our community. If anybody there has been listening, I believe they've had a lot to take home. You could all give us your last remarks. I'll start with Miss Susan. Could you please give us your last remarks? Sorry.
Thank you, Agatha, right?
Yes, it's Agatha.
Yeah, you've done a good job, coordinating us and
thank you so much.
Being our, yes. Hanifa, thank you so much. Good to see you again. Mr. Ntege, thank you and nice meeting you. Yes, my last or closing remarks on this Summit 2021, I would, emphasize on unity to all our diaspora communities. We cannot do much when we are this divided. It's too much, and actually it's becoming worse. In this 2021, looking back and see what, where we've been with this COVID, I think it's time for us to be one and work together, support each other, love one another, people. One thing I would say, God hates people who don't love each other. That's the first commandment. Love one another, love your neighbor the same way you love yourself. So if we can do those little simple principles, we are, not doing it. We are about to fail. So let us unite, people. Let us come together as diaspora. Let us put aside those things that make us divided, because they're not taking us anywhere, but they're taking us backwards. So that's my remarks, and I would really emphasize, and encourage other people, other presidents of different community. Let us come together. Let us be an example to our fellow Ugandans in diaspora. Thank you so much, and happy Independence Day tomorrow. You're all invited to our independence. It's going to be big. We have Harmonize in the house, for those of you who knows him. I don't know him, but I am very excited. So please, yes, so come and join us. You can still take a flight in the morning. Hanifa. Good night.
Thank you so much for your closing remarks, Miss Susan. Have a good night. I will ask Mr. Ntege to give us his closing remarks.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. Thank you, Susan, Hanifa, council member. Nice seeing you again here. My last remarks, I want to thank Immigrant Guide for giving us this platform to talk to our members and to let them know what community is. A greater community of people who come together for the same values and same goals. Let us work together as a community to help our families, to help all individuals that need our help. Let us work hard, because the system here is kind of easy. Let us have resource centers. Let us build the centers for our young ones. Our generation or generations are big. Our members have nowhere to go to bring them together. I always tell my, when I would go for functions, I tell the young ones, let not your color discriminate you. Let education have all your education. Let them discriminate you on color. but not education, not your behaviors, not your good deeds. That's number one. That I'm always talking to the kids, because there are many. We have functions where we are 150 people. The kids are 300. Where are we letting them? So, members, I'm in for the youth, and we should work so much for our youth members to have a better communities in our coming years. Our independence is tomorrow. I believe everybody is welcome tomorrow in Washington State. Whoever wants to come, you're most welcome. We have another called the Uganda Culture Association of Washington. We have a royal dinner that is coming up on the November 18th. I'll buy you a ticket if you show up, because I'm the chairman. I'll give you a ticket, Agatha or Anifa or Susan. Free entrance. Just know it is on me. But I want to see all our people get together at the end of the year. But thank you again, once again, Agatha, for bringing us together and having this experience. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you so much. And I'll have the closing remarks from Ms. Hanifa.
Thank you so much, Madam Agatha, for moderating such a wonderful panel. I want to thank my fellow panelists, Sue Kwizera and Council Ntege, for the wonderful perspective that you have shared here. The one thing I will close this panel with is collaboration. Because when we collaborate, I get to know where my strength is and where my weakness is. I get to know who has the strength where I am weak. And together with those collaborative efforts, we do something bigger. And the other point I want to make is we have our differences, and if we can use our differences as a springboard to make our community stronger together, then we can accomplish greater things. And as such, I want to pitch that, like right now, I'll give an example of independence. We have independence celebrations going on across North America. We are celebrating our independence. Our youths are witnessing what is happening. They are seeing our elders inviting different elders from different states, oh, come and celebrate with us. That is a great practice that we can pass on to our next generation. Community food brings us together as a community. So if we can do this and demonstrate that to our next generation, and that is the appeal I make in UNA, let's use our differences as a springboard to make us together, to make us stronger together, to strengthen the collaboration and partnerships in the different communities, to see how we can work together, to strengthen our presence here in North America so that it is felt from bottom up and from top bottom. Thank you so much.
Thank
and happy independence to everyone.
Thank you so much for honoring our invite. And that is the end of today's summit session. I want to let you know that we have more sessions tomorrow. We're going to be talking about immigration, health, business, and investment, and we're going to exhaust those topics and enjoy. I want you guys to enjoy the music with Afromanco after here before you go to sleep. Also have yourselves a good night. Thank you so much to our audience for tuning in. Do not miss out on tomorrow's sessions. Have yourselves a good night. Let's have the Afromanco band. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, dancing time. Taking you back in time. Cha-cha. Mwana mboka na mchana Thank you so much, everyone. It has really been such a great event. Thank you so much, Agatha and Brenda, for hosting us tonight. Thank you, Immigrant Guide. We're looking forward to working with you over and over again. It's really such a pleasure. We want to thank our sponsors tonight. Makasi Drink. Thank you so much. Aspire to be more. We want to thank the Uganda Community in California, UCOC, and Immigrant Guide and its leaders. Thank you so much. And a happy independence to you all. Please don't forget to go to our website, afromenkoband.com. Looking forward to working with you again. All the best.